Okay, this video I am not holding back. I am telling you everything in this Q&A. You asked it, I am telling you. So we are getting down to the nitty gritty. We are talking about my least favorite behavior. We are talking about my most embarrassing teacher story. All of that right in this video. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel from the Behavior Check-In. I'm a behavior teacher and coach in Florida. I'm also a neurodivergent parent, and I speak about everything teacher lifestyle and teaching and parenting and behavior all in one. So in this video, I am doing a Q&A. I've done some of these before, but I haven't always answered every question. I'm trying to get to some of the more frequently asked questions, some of the things that maybe I've held back on, but I'm going to be a little bit more blunt in this video and share with you. So hopefully, you have better insight into the teaching field if you're interested in going into it, or if you're just nosy and curious, then I'll have all of that for you as well. So before we jump into it, I just wanted to take a moment and look at this absolutely beautiful jewelry that I am wearing today. If you know one thing about me, like I said, I do teacher lifestyle content. So I talk about teaching, but I also talk about the things that make me happy, and something that makes me very happy is beautiful jewelry, cute outfits, makeup, putting myself together. I feel like that's a very important part of self-care, so I talk about it a lot on my channel as well as teaching, because I feel like we are more than just our teaching job. This jewelry is from Luisa. I have worked with them before. I absolutely love Luisa jewelry. It is just so beautiful, and I have super duper sensitive skin. Like, I've always had trouble with earrings and things in the past, like irritating my ears. I won't be able to wear them. If I wear like necklaces, I have issues with breaking out on my skin. I've not had an issue at all with Luisa, which is what I really love about their product. Is it's just high quality, but it is completely affordable. One thing about being a teacher and a mom is I'm super busy. I don't always take the best care of my jewelry, I'll be honest, and sometimes they get tangled and messed up, but Luisa just holds up so well. They have beautiful packaging that they come in. They're carbon neutral, and it's just 10 out of 10. Absolutely love working with them. So I'm always excited when I get to partner with them and share with them. Right now I have my code that I will link below that you can go ahead and use and save some money off. I think you will really like it. If you're looking for a last minute like Christmas gift, Luisa is definitely where you're going to want to go and get a piece of beautiful jewelry for someone you care about, whether it's a teacher or a friend or someone you love, or yourself. It's okay, treat yourself. Again, love them, could not say enough about Luisa. So make sure you use the link below and check them out. I know you're gonna absolutely love it. All right, full disclosure, I am feeling a little under the weather. I am filming this right before we go on Christmas break, and I have gotten ill. So I wanted to make sure that I'm upbeat and perky for this video. I'm trying my best, but if you're hearing them a little nasally, that is why. But that's just real life. I get sick every time of year, teaching in the winter. I think it's just the germs and the stress and all of that. But anyway, so we're gonna get into some of the questions that you've asked. Now, one question I have been asked is, what is my least favorite behavior? I've been very hesitant to post this, because I think sometimes, like, I have little eyes that do find my channel. I don't broadcast this out to students by any means. Like, I don't really like anybody I work with or my students really knowing I have social media, just because I don't, I like to keep some things to myself and some things public. So I like to keep work and all that a little bit separated. I know it doesn't seem that way when I do this, but they're on a need to know basis. So I don't always like to talk about my least favorite behavior, because I'm afraid if the little eyes find it, they might use that. But I will say that, my least favorite one is probably spitting. Spitting is pretty darn gross. I have a really hard time with spitting. Spitting is a really hard one to manage too, because it's really hard for you to not give a reaction to. And that can make it very challenging to deal with as a teacher, and very reinforcing for an attention-seeking student. So how I've kind of helped spitters stop in the past is just ignoring it, which is really gross. But a lot of them, now granted, you have to do like a functional behavior assessment and kind of figure out why they're doing it, but most of the spitters I've had, it has been for attention seeking. So basically ignoring the negative, reinforcing the positive. When they seek your attention in appropriate ways, you reinforce that with a lot of attention, and when they do the spitting, you don't pay any attention to them. So, but it is a toughie. Like, you have to bring in like the serious, oh, at least I have to bring in everything for it, because I am not a fan of spitting, and that one can be very, very hard. I find that more frustrating than the defiant behavior, because I can usually work through the defiant behavior in some way. You can see that usually it's rooted in like a lack of skill sometimes, or I feel like a lack of autonomy. So you can kind of work around that one. And I see that a lot in what I do. So defiant behavior is day in and day out. But yeah, when you get into the spitting, that's a toughie. And when you get a spitter, you need to be on board with your team, and you need to give each other breaks, because it's icky. It's gross. Luckily in the junior high setting, this is not something we see on a regular basis. This is more of an elementary preschool level behavior, but it is, I mean, well, at least with my junior high students, I don't work with students with intellectual disabilities. You might see that in that population, but not so much with the students that I work with in the behavior unit currently. I'm saying that, and I feel like I'm putting that out into the universe. So now I'm a little nervous about that. What is my most what's going on with my hair? I don't know. I talk with my hands. It's a problem. My most embarrassing teaching moment. I have a lot of them, so this was really hard to choose from. I actually had to like think. We had a student elope, and in terms for behavior, elope means leave the area that they're in. Sometimes they run, sometimes they walk, whatever. Happens a lot. It's a really common behavior. It's an annoying behavior, but it obviously is not my most annoying behavior. I don't even mind it sometimes, because like I get to go on a walk and kind of move around, so it doesn't always bother me. Elopement doesn't always bother me. Sometimes we're allowed to take like golf carts and go pursue the students. So that's kind of fun. And I am not a golfer. I live in a golfing community, and you would think that I would be a golfer. And I took the golf cart, and I'm not the best. I'm actually a very horrible golf cart driver. We'll just put it that way. And so I was out doing my job, supervising said student with said golf cart. And I went to go turn it to get it back in. And like I had to kind of go over a curb, and like we had the parking lot where the cars are. And mind you, like this is at a time when there's a lot of traffic and people out there watching me. I was getting ready to like go put it back up. Mind you, the whole moment was over. Everybody was safe, everything was good. And I was going to go put the golf cart back up, and I went to go turn it, and I didn't want to like go near the cars because it didn't have like the widest turn radius, and I'm admittedly not the best driver. And so I went to go drive the golf cart, and I was like, ooh, I think I can hop this curb and get around these like cars. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. So I like hop the curb, and I have to slam on the brakes because I almost plow into a car, which we don't want to do that. So I'm like, okay, now I'm stuck. Like I'm teetering. Like there's the curb, there's me, and I'm stuck. And we've got all these people, like teachers in the parking lot and parents. And there I am, like this, in the little golf cart, like an idiot. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll reverse it and maybe like try to like push it out. But then I realized I don't know how to reverse a golf cart because I've never driven a golf cart before in my life. So I'm out there trying to figure out how to get it out and like trying to like make it, because I couldn't figure the reverse. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to push this cart out. So I'm trying to push it, and everybody is literally like laughing. Like all my colleagues are laughing at me. And the lady whose car I almost hit comes over and shows me how to reverse it and bring it out. And like the longest standing joke now is that like, you know, I need to go back to driver's ed, which probably is accurate. I probably hit more curbs than I should. I have a lot of oopsies. And I really don't want to drive golf carts anymore. I'd rather do an elopement follow and observe on my feet because I just make a mockery of myself, and then students and staff never let me live it down when I try to drive a golf cart. So, and that's not my only tale of driving a golf cart mishap. Like, I also can't keep it steady. And so when I push on the gas, it's like, and everybody makes fun of me when I drive it. And that, it kind of can help de-escalate behavior because it's embarrassingly bad. Like, embarrassingly bad. So that is probably my most recent. Definitely embarrassing. Oh, I have another one too. So I did the teacher's worst fear, and I wore pajamas on the day that was not pajama day. Yeah, totally did that. Luckily though, I caught myself because I don't know, I had this feeling like I was not accurate on the dress up day. So I had a pair of jeans like in the back of my car. So I saw everybody rolling up in their regular clothes, not pajama clothes, and realized real quickly that I had the day before pajama day, not the correct pajama day. And I was able to go in the back of the time I had a minivan, go in the back of the minivan and like change my clothes in the back. So that was a near miss of an embarrassing moment that I've had as a teacher, but I know that's like every teacher's worst nightmare is that you're gonna roll up to school in pajamas when it's not pajama day. Or maybe that's just mine, I don't know. I have a whole bunch of other stuff that I've kind of done that's been embarrassing, like the time I tried to explain how we solve problems by taking a bite of the elephant one bite at a time. I said this in front of junior high boys, I mind you, and I was like, yeah, so like you can't just stick the whole thing in your mouth. No, they bursted out into laughter and tormented me about that for the longest time. And that's the problem when you come from the elementary setting and then you go to the junior high setting and you don't realize that everything you say is a double entendre, and then they make fun of you for it. So I'm sure I'll have more. If we keep asking this question, I'm sure more will develop because I'm really good at embarrassing myself, as you can see. So, but it's good to laugh at yourself. And I think my embarrassing moments definitely, I don't know, make me more relatable to my students and staff that I work with, or at least give people entertainment for a short period of time. But you have to learn to laugh at yourself and not take yourself too seriously. My next question. All right. So what is my biggest success story? That's a good one to deviate away from the most embarrassing story. Like, yeah, we don't want to talk about that anymore. My biggest success story has to be I worked with a student who was definitely on the pathological demand avoidance autism profile. And the student was extremely, extremely difficult to work with. And a lot of people really struggled with this kid. And initially, I really struggled with this kid. I really struggled to connect and find common ground. We were back and forth with power struggles. No one could get this child to do any kind of work. And it usually resulted in meltdowns and room destructions and all of that stuff. And I was finally able to, through a lot of work and a lot of relationship building, because that's big with these kids, with kids who have PDA profile, is making them feel safe and feel understood and feel like they have autonomy. I worked with this student and we ended up developing a pretty close like teacher-pupil relationship. There was a lot of trust. And I was able to really help the student, and the student ended up taking like a baseline assessment and actually hit grade level, which was such a big deal. Such a big deal. I never thought in a million years we would get to that point. We started off really rough. We started off with me thinking that I would not be able to help this kid, that maybe an alternative setting would be better than not the setting that I was currently in. Maybe I was not that teacher, but I did not give up on that kid. And I played to this child's interests, and not in a manipulative way, but in an interesting way, like being genuinely interested in what they were interested in. And we started with that first. And I really geared everything that I did with that child to that child's interest and got their buy-in. And we did a lot of break work and a lot of time just talking about their interests. They really enjoyed talking to an adult about the things they were interested in. And that really just helped get us through. We were working on, before I ended up having to move and no longer being this child's teacher, we were really working on generalizing that skill with other trusted adults. So it wasn't just that that child only worked with me. So we were able to kind of expand it out so that child would work with other people and kind of process in how the teachers that worked with that child could work with that child and not trigger their fight or flight through, the PDA. Because that's another thing that happens when they feel like their autonomy is being taken away. They can really shut down. So I had to do a lot of like teacher training and explaining to the teachers how to best work with that student and how Rome is not built in a day, and that you really have to lay the foundational groundwork in order to help that student be successful. But that's probably one of my biggest success stories, because we started from like, there's no way I can help this kid, to like, this child is successful, this child is learning, this child can learn in this least restrictive environment. And I really grew as a teacher. Like, this was one of those moments where the student taught me and I became a better teacher from it, as well as helping that student. And I think those are the best experiences you can have as a teacher. You learn so much from your students, you really do. And that's why this job is, like, you can learn something in school, but you really hone your craft working with the children. And that's just, to me, that's the best way that I have learned. So the next one is, how did I become a behavior psych coach? So behavior specialist, behavior coach, behavior interventionist, they all have different names in different counties and different states and where you are. Essentially what I do is, I don't have students in my classroom. How I explain it to people is, I'm kind of like a teacher slash guidance counselor slash junior administrator, all kind of in one. So I will help the students, and I can be kind of like I can really support the teachers in how to help the students with behavior strategies, but I'm also a place for the students to go when they're feeling escalated, they need someone to talk to. I'm kind of like a third party. I don't necessarily go straight into like discipline. I try to be more someone who is like the first step in the behavior plan, who helps implement the interventions that that child needs before we have to go the discipline route. I also do observations and write functional behavior assessments. That's a little bit of my job. I also go into classrooms and support teachers and kind of give feedback from observations and strategies through observations on how we can help kids so that they can learn best in the environment. If there's certain things we need to tweak in the classroom, certain teaching styles, certain resources we need to add, I do all that stuff. So that's a very long description of my job. Sometimes I'm a bouncer. We're working at not doing that. I feel like I'm the most successful when my staff is able to thrive on their own, and I'm more of the first line of de-escalation. If they aren't able to de-escalate them in the classroom, and less of someone they come to when they're like in trouble. I'm more someone they come to when they need help calming down or figuring out a problem. So how I got into this job is, when I moved here, I was a self-contained behavior teacher, and I enjoyed that job, but I knew I wanted something more. And I got a lot of positive feedback that I was doing a good job. And we actually had a behavior coach on our campus, and I saw how they could really get in there and help the whole campus and not just, one little group of students. And I really liked that. And I liked the idea of helping teachers and parents more. Obviously, that's why I created this YouTube channel, because that's what I want to do. I love helping, but I wanted to expand my web out to as many people as I possibly could. And so at the end of my contract year, I went ahead and applied for the position, and I got it. And I left elementary and went to junior high. And I love junior high. And it's funny to say that, because sometimes I wonder if I do right now, because it's December and I'm tired, but I really do like secondary, because I really need to not say this, but because they have less elementary kids have elementary behaviors. Preschool kids have preschool behaviors, and like, they're little and they're working on their impulse control. So there's typically more aggressive behaviors. The gross ones, those tend to live in elementary land. Junior high, they'll hurt your feelings. Like, they'll hurt your feelings really bad. That is the downside to junior high, is they're bigger. With little kids, you can usually like kind of guide them in the direction of where you want them to go. you have that position of authority of just being bigger than them. You don't have that with junior high. A lot of the kids, even though I'm not exactly petite, like I'm 5'10", some of these kids are bigger than me. So like coming in and having that same kind of way you carry yourself and you know, just as an authority figure doesn't really work. So I've definitely, the one thing I love about it is I've had to hone in my de-escalation skills and talking kids down, and I do that a lot. And that's the one nice thing about secondary is you can talk them through their big feelings a little bit more than elementary school. Elementary school, they're in their big feelings. You have to really wait for them to calm down. Now, this is not always the rule. Sometimes it's the same with secondary. You have to let them calm down too, but usually the cycle's not as long and you can talk them down. That is definitely one thing I really like about working with the secondary students. And that was coming on a tangent, I guess, about how I got my job, but anyway. So the next question is, do I see myself staying in education? You know, I really want to say yes. I do love what I do. It's been a dream of mine. And I think I will always work in education. Oh, the edgy nose. I think I will always stay in education in some aspect. Will I be a teacher or a coach? Maybe not. I've thought about going into administration at some point. Maybe college, I don't know. I haven't really made a decision. I don't want to leave. There's a lot of teachers that have left and gone into like content creation or other things like that, and that's not what I want to do. I like doing this because I feel like I can help people on a broader scale, and I want to continue doing that. I'm not happy at all with the state of public education at all, but I feel like more than ever, our kids need us, but it is getting harder and harder to be the last few soldiers soldiering on. And I think we're all feeling it. Like the teachers who have not left the profession and are staying behind, or the new ones who are entering, and we're all kind of like trying to help, I think are very much feeling it right now. And it feels like you have everything against you. You're battling a dragon with a dagger. That's what you feel like. And all you've got is your dagger and your big heart. That's my analogy, I guess, for the day. And I want so badly to help these kids because I know that somebody has to. And I know someone might say that's toxic positivity and that's feeding it. And if everybody does that, then they're going to exploit us. Yeah, you're probably right. But I have a child who has these challenges and has an IEP, and I know for a fact that private education is not going to support my child with an IEP. I know when I was growing up and I had an IEP that private education wasn't going to support me. And I don't want to see those children get neglected and lose the opportunity to have an education. I believe in that. Now, whether that means at some point, I don't know, maybe I start my own school. I don't know. I will always make sure that there is a place for those kids because they have every right to learn. And despite what the political arena wants. All right, now this is my last one. I'm gonna finish out. This is my last question. So, what is one thing that I think every teacher should have? And I think that is a therapist. Every teacher should have a therapist, especially teachers who work with students that have trauma and that have a lot of their own mental health issues coming in. You need a place, you need an outlet, you need to talk about it. I think every teacher should have one. It should just be a benefit for teachers that you come into work and you get your benefits package and everybody has a therapist and they have time where they go out and they go to therapy appointments, and that should be a requirement. So it's not a tangible, it's not something you can get in my Amazon storefronts. It is just something that everybody should have and all teachers should have. I think taking care of your mental health is a priority if you're going to stay in this field. Learning how to set healthy boundaries, learning how to accept the things you cannot change and do the best within what you have are all big lessons that we need to work on. If we're gonna have longevity, that's what we need. Make sure you check out my link below and get yourself some beautiful Ana Luisa jewelry, especially when we have the sale. You're not gonna wanna miss out. And I appreciate you so much for coming to my channel and watching my videos. It means so much. I know that we have a very small little group here, but I just appreciate everybody who shows up and puts their comments in there. Trust me, I see you, I appreciate you. I love this little community we're building. And of course, always leave down below any video ideas you would like, what you want to see from me. I know that I did put a survey up there and you wanted to see my 5 a.m. morning routine. I will do that. It's not happening this week because I'm not having a 5 a.m. morning routine because I have been sick. But I will show you that as soon as we get back from Christmas break. I also plan on finishing getting up my IEP series, wrapped up over Christmas break, and a few other videos. But let me know below what you want to see from me because I want to make content that you want to consume and enjoy. And thanks again so much for coming to my channel. Make sure you check out that link below for Ana Luisa, and I will catch you in the next video. Lightning strikes by